Joining me on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is one of the best in the business, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, fresh off his 2022 draft, Chris Ballard, back here on the program. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime for sure. So, how do you assess a draft as a general manager as soon as it's done? We all in the media say it takes 3-5 years to do it. What about you, Chris?
I'm usually pretty. I'd be lying. Every general manager after the draft gets up and says, "Man, we freaking nailed it. We got everybody we wanted." I'm probably a little more, even keeled with it. Like, we're excited about the players we got, but now they got to go prove it. We always feel really good if they contribute. I think you see pretty quickly, Rich. Of course, the developmental timeline for every player is different, but I'll tell you this: the second Quentin Nelson stepped on the field, it didn't take long to see that he was pretty good.
Yeah, he passed the eye test. I know that. Yeah, that passed the eye test. Big Q. I know that. Man.
Yeah, and any player, you usually see it pretty. Jonathan Taylor didn't take long to see that he was going to be pretty good. Pittman was really good. These guys, and it's funny because Darius, I remember that first offseason, Darius didn't practice at all because he was overcome. He had a quad injury.
Right.
And, there's some whispers, they took him too high. This guy, he's not practicing. And then the first day of training camp, he picks Andrew Luck off twice. Well, okay, this guy's pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
So I think quick. With some guys, it takes a little longer, but with the ones that are really special, they hit the ground running pretty quickly.
How the hell did Jonathan Taylor last that long, Chris? I still don't get it. I don't understand it. What happened?
I don't know. I guess he rushed for too many yards. I don't we really liked him, and I kept going. You just had the running back position has been beat up so bad by the analytical community, and I don't know if people are timid to take him now or what. I remember we traded up 2 or 3 picks, and you'd have thought we had just done the stupidest thing on earth for moving up and getting this guy, but I don't know. He's very talented. We're feel fortunate that we have him.
Well, it's not just the tape. It's not the tape. You actually see, he says one syllable to you and looks you in the eye, and it's just like he's one of the most special people you're going to meet, period. End of story, And why wouldn't you want to move up to take somebody with that talent and that ability and also that personality and drive? I can't say enough about him. And I was saying that, trust me, as a Michigan Wolverine, I was very happy you took him out of the Big Ten. But,
he ripped y'all. There's no doubt. I'm a Badger. I'm a Wisconsin guy. So, he ripped me. He ripped Michigan up pretty good.
Chris, I know you're known for your honesty, but can you sugarcoat that a little bit? Come on, man. Come on, man. But no, I hear you. Chris Ballard here on the Rich Eisen Show. So how antsy are you when you don't have a first-round pick, when you watch it?
No, I'm okay. I think in 18 we had one. We traded out of the first in 19. And 20 we traded for Buckner. Last year we had one, and then this year. So you just let it fall. There's good players at every level of the draft. We feel like you can always find players. Just because you don't have a first-round pick doesn't mean you can't still find really, really good players in the draft. So, we just scout them up, and, whenever it's our time to pick, we make a decision on who we're going to take or if we're going to move back and kind of roll with it.
And on this show this year, Chris, we got involved in the NIL gig where we gave out some free glue product and $1,000 to some players that didn't expect to have an NIL deal thrown their way based on their profile or their big game, and we decided to bestow it on them. And one of the guys we did was Alec Pierce. We thought we were kind of targeting him throughout the season as a guy was flying under the radar in a way, and then after he beat Notre Dame, again, being a Michigan guy, you do that, I'll give you glue and $1,000. But he's terrific. He's terrific. What did you see in him, and what you think he can do for you this year, Chris?
Well, our scouts did a really good job, scouting him and getting all detail and identify. Like, I think that's part of the process is, I don't really care about what grades we have on them. It's nice if we've got them right, but we don't always get the grades perfectly right. But just make sure we got the right guys identified, so we all get our eyes on them. And they did a good job identifying them. I happened to be at the Indiana game where he had a pretty good game. And then my assistant general manager, Ed Dodge, was at the Notre Dame game where he just freaking, he just went off. And then we went to University of Cincinnati to work out Desmond Ritter, and Alex showed up and worked out, and Rich, let me just tell you, that's unusual today. Mm-hmm. 15 years ago, we could get kids to run 340s. Like if we needed them to do something, they would do it. Nowadays, just getting them to complete the process is quite the fight. But Alex showed up. He worked out. Reggie was with us. Reggie Wayne went down with us, and man, you could feel him when he worked out. I mean, even though he's 6'3", 211, and he's got a lot of power in his body, and he's fast, and he's really athletic. No, we think he adds a big play element at the receiver position that we needed to address.
And when we're on the subject, Chris Ballard, of things you don't normally see, you also don't normally see a kid get drafted in the NFL who didn't pick up a football till he was the age of 14 because he was a soccer winter sports lover from Austria. But you did by way of
in the military,
right?
By way in the military. How about that?
Right. I mean, so Bernhard Raimann, how do you evaluate somebody like that and draft him, Chris? How does that work?
So I'm going to tell you one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my career.
Okay.
So I'll never forget this. Sebastian Vollmer was at University of Houston, and I scouted the Southwest for the Bears for 11 years, and I didn't have a very good grade on Sebastian Vollmer. And I'll never forget, I show up at the workout that day, and all of a sudden I look over, and there's Dante Scarnecchia there to work out Sebastian Vollmer. And he was incredible. And I remember calling in the office going, I think I'm a little low on this guy. We might need to do some more work on him. And with Raymond, he's got a lot of the same traits. I mean, he's a big, strong, athletic man. And, even with the position switch, watching from his junior, season to his senior season, just the incremental progress that he made, playing the position, gets you excited. And to be honest, Rich, we thought, there was points when we actually talked about taking him at 42. So for him to be there later, we felt really good about it.
Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about your quarterback spot, starting with a little bit of the Wayback Machine, because we haven't spoken yet. Why do you think it didn't work out with Carson Wentz in Indianapolis, Chris?
That's a question I've pondered, because he had a good year. It's not like, sometimes I look back and I'm like, Carson did some really good things here. But I think the way the season ended, Rich, was such a black eye. It wasn't all Carson's fault. Let me just tell you, that was when we fail in that fashion that we did. I mean, first it starts with, it's a lot of my fault because I didn't have the team. I didn't give our coaches everything they needed. But ultimately, at that position, you get a lot of the blame when things don't go wrong. And there just comes a point, I was visiting with Frank and ownership and Mr. Irsay, and, do we think this is the best long-term answer? And if it's not, then we need to reevaluate the position and move forward. And I wish I had a direct answer and say, this is why. I mean, Carson played pretty good football. But the expectation here, look, when you're following Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, the history of the position, all the way back to Johnny Unitas. And then we get Phillip Rivers, who played at a really high level for us. The standard's really high for the quarterback position. And it's very demanding. And, we expect for that guy to be able to take us to a whole nother level. And for whatever reason, we couldn't get it done last year, so we decided to make the change.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Irsay saying he meant no words. I mean, saying it was a mistake. And if you guys had beaten Jacksonville and made the playoffs, do you think Carson would still be your quarterback? I know that's a hypothetical, but
that's a hypothetical. I think we still probably would have had discussions. We probably still would have had discussions about it.
So, and then, because I remember when you made the move, there was really no obvious maneuver on the board yet. I mean, there was no obvious, like, well, this guy's available and he's coming here, or that you had the draft capital go get somebody like, say, Russell Wilson or anybody else, even if that was a viable option. And I know those guys were under contract elsewhere. When did Matt Ryan first appear on your radar screen, Chris Ballard?
Let me tell you, I'll give Mr. Irsay a lot of credit. He kept telling me, I mean, that's one thing I really appreciate about him. You know, he's done the job before. You know, he's been a GM. So he kept telling me, he goes, you know what, Chris, something good's going to happen. Just keep working. Don't panic. Don't just make a move to make a move. You know, be patient, which I am by nature, and be patient, and something could come to fruition. And when all the Watson talk started, you know, filtering and coming up, you know, we had got a call from Atlanta that, you know, would you be interested? And of course we said, yeah, we'd definitely be interested. And, you know, as we kept moving forward, talking about it, we thought it was going to be a really good fit, and fortunate enough that we were able to work out a deal, you know, even after they didn't get Deshaun, you know, to get Matt here.
So that's the way the genesis was, the Deshaun Watson interest in Atlanta. Their preparations in case Deshaun said yes to them was to give you a ring.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they wanted to do the right thing for Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, look, Matt's meant the world to that franchise. And, you know, when they were going down the Watson road, I think let's find a good place. And I know that before even that, I think Matt had done some research, you know, on us by calling Peyton and asking around the league. And it's good because the feelings were mutual on wanting to make this happen.
And was there, because I know Baker Mayfield had voiced personally that he would love to land with you guys. Was that ever an option for you as well, Chris?
We went through, what I would tell you, Rich, is we went through every quarterback that we thought was going to be available. And I remember telling Rich and Frank, Mr. Irsay and Frank, sorry, mm-hmm. that we'll be patient, we will wait, and the best option will present itself to us at the right time. I wish I could tell you I had some crystal ball and that I just knew this was going to happen. Sometimes, Rich, you just get a little lucky. And Lord knows we needed some, you know, to be able to make this happen. But we evaluated every quarterback that we thought, and ultimately we ended up with the one that, you know, we thought was the best option for us.
And how long do you think Matt's stay could be there? I mean, I understand you've got fish to fry in 2022, but this is now, you know, I know since Luck kind of surprised you to say I'm out, the quarterback we all talk about in the media about different starting quarterback now multiple years in a row for you. I imagine that's not the way you really want to go about your business. So
you think? I mean,
right.
We get it's funny because I think about it all the time. You know, all of a sudden we get Phillip, you know, and then Phillip decides to retire. You know, then we get Carson. We got to move on. I mean, we've been quite the ringer. I don't know. I mean, I got to go through a season with Matt, but I'll tell you this: he's in great shape. He's been very durable, you know, in his career. I think Matt wants to play as long as he can play. And you know, I can't foresee the future. I know we've got him under contract for 2 years, so I know it'll be 2 years. And then we'll go from there and see where it takes us. But, you know, it's very early. You know, we're all really excited about having him here, and I know he's excited about being here. I mean, Rich, this guy's, like I always knew from afar, but until you live with somebody and really get to know them, you don't really know. I mean, you think you know, but you don't know. I mean, he is a real deal leader in every aspect, and extremely professional, extremely driven, and extremely passionate about playing the game. You know, I told Matt this. One of the funnest years I've ever had in football was the year I had with Phillip Rivers. The joy. Phillip Rivers, 39 years old, and the joy that he played the game with. And it was just infectious to everybody. And it was no different than watching my 16-year-old son play football, you know, at a young age. And he played the game just like he was a kid. And it's the only regret I have about the year with Phillip is that our fans, because of COVID, didn't get to feel it the way we got to feel it, because it was really special. And I feel a lot of the same things with Matt. Like, the game brings Matt a lot of joy. And it's not just Sundays. It's the everyday. And I think as you get older, Phillip told me this, you appreciate it more. You appreciate, you know, every practice, you know, every session you have with a chance to get better, every chance to be able to play a kid's game, you know, for as long as you can and get as much joy and enjoyment out of it as you can. That is a really cool thing to be around. And I feel very similar about Matt. Now, we haven't gone through the ringer yet, you know, through the season.
Right.
But I got a good feeling that it's going to be very similar.
I love it, Chris. I love it. And one of my favorite moments in my tenure on NFL Network was a Thursday night in Denver when the Chargers went in. I think Peyton Manning was in Denver and shocked them. It was like a week 15, week 16. Chargers were on a roll, and Phillip did his usual thing on the road in the AFC West and showed up post game on the set in his ostrich boots and his bolo tie and his whole dadgummit, and just like he was shot out of a cannon, and the whole country felt it through the television set. His passion and his love, and just like wanted to run through a wall for the guy. I totally get what you're saying, and I love that you're saying that about Matt Ryan as well. So do you want to have some fun with Matt? I know I've got something for you if you want to have a little bit of fun with Matt, Chris Ballard.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is what you tell him. You tell him that, you know, he's got a new lease here, right? Turn the page. It's a whole new part of his career. You tell him that, and you say, Matty Ice was Atlanta. That's Atlanta. You got a new persona here. And tell him you got a new nickname for him. And you tell him the nickname is the Mattural. Okay? You tell him that, and he will know exactly where it's from, because I've been trying to get him to accept that nickname highly unsuccessfully for well over a decade. And I just think you should, if you can play it straight, Chris, like with not break out.
I got it.
You play it straight and sit like you're serious about it. That would be great. That would be outstanding.
I'm going to give it to our social media department and say, hey, what do you think of this guy?
Yes.
Chris Ballard, you have no idea what you've done.
No.
You have no idea what you've done.
No, this man, they don't just call him a specific manager. He's a general manager. He knows. Okay? He knows. They call him a general manager for a reason. He manages generally. Okay? So this is going to be great. Yes. Yes, the Mattural. The Mattural. He will know where it's coming from once it's out of the bag. But this would be great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Give it a try, Chris.
Awesome.
Give it a try.
No, it's going down. I mean, look, you think I'm kidding? Well, first thing is they're going to play this.
Yes.
So it's getting out there.
That's true.
Like this is
That's true. I know it's not the most foolproof gambit. I understand that there's some holes in this. But let's go for it. Let's do it.
Oh, we will.
Excellent.
We will.
Chris Ballard, thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it. I will my eyes will be peeled to @Colts. I can't wait for that. And thanks for the time. Let's do this more often. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime, Rich.
That is
Appreciate it.
The Indianapolis Colts general manager, Chris Ballard, here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.